If you're being honest with yourself, you have parts of you that like to avoid conflict. They like to please other people. They like to avoid disapproval, and they don't want to be rejected. Essentially, they're afraid of those things. And that fear, that underlying fear, drives us to act in ways that aren't genuine to us. They aren't true for us. They're self-sacrificing in a dysfunctional way. And it's important to actually, in some cases, care about what other people think about you, but it's also important in other contexts and cases to not care about what other people think about you. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the latter rather than the former. And I want you to think about when you were a child, when you were very, very young. I want you to think about how you managed to survive. A core element of that was getting the approval of the people around you who you were dependent upon. And that feeling of disapproval, of being rejected, is actually quite traumatizing for a kid, since their whole sense of survival is dependent upon approval. And I want you to recognize that these inner child parts of you and the wounds that come with all that, they don't ever go anywhere. They stay operating in your psyche underneath your sort of everyday awareness. You don't shine attention on them, and you might not even know how to shine attention on them. And without consciously investigating this stuff, it's quite impossible to actually be authentic in certain scenarios, because a particular context is going to trigger that part of our psyche and is going to get us to act in ways that go against our actual truth. It's going to go against our authenticity. So a core part of this is learning to listen to the internal signals that you have. Learning to actually be in your body. Learning to actually hear the signals that your body gives you. Because your body's not just a hunk of meat. Your body's an intelligent, energetic system. You're existing in a field of consciousness, and your body is conscious. There's intelligence to your body that you can't pick up just by thinking and being identified with your mind. So it's important to actually learn how to hear those signals and act on them, and do so without feeling ashamed, without feeling guilty, without feeling afraid. Essentially, you learn how to build real confidence by listening to your own internal signals and having the courage to act upon them, regardless of what other people will think. So you learn essentially how to trust yourself rather than always needing to please others because you're too scared to do the thing that you authentically want to do, whether that's how you express yourself, or maybe that's a choice that you're making in your life. If you actually look at the parts of you that are afraid and they want to please other people, these are very young parts of you. When wounds happen, that aspect of ourself that is wounded remains stuck at the time of the wounding. So if we were wounded at age 2, 4, 5, 6, that particular aspect is going to stay stuck there. It almost like freezes in time, and that particular part of us still believes it's defending an inner 2-year-old. And you have to learn how to reconnect with that inner child. And this is a very real thing. There is a hurting child inside of you that you either ignore, neglect, or abuse. That's right, you abuse yourself. You judge yourself, you criticize yourself, you fill your body with toxins and junk foods. And that sensitive inner child picks up all of this. The neglect, the criticism, the self-abuse. It feels all this deeply. And it actually cries out to you. The pain that you feel, a lot of the suffering that you experience is going to be tied back to exactly this. The fact that there's disowned aspects of yourself that you do not want to see or integrate, and they are screaming for your attention, just like a real child would scream for your attention. So keep in mind that you have these parts of you, and these parts have sub-personalities. It's almost like there's an actual other being inside of you who has these ideas. And essentially, your mind isn't this one kind of thing. Your mind is made out of these parts. Your mind is made out of these subpersonalities. This is a very weird concept for many, but if you find it strange, I encourage you to keep an open mind. So your mind is actually a system with various interconnected parts. Just like how your body is not this one body, but you have various different cells with various different functions. Your neurons do something different from your skin cells, and your skin cells do something different from the immune system, and your immune system, right, does something different from the other thing, and so on. Your mind is actually operating in a similar fashion. Your physical body is made up of all these different interconnected parts that have different functions and aspects to them, different energies, different qualities, different roles to play. Your mind is the same. And it does this in your own experience in a way that might not be so easy for you to just kind of automatically recognize. Number one, maybe you're not educated on it. No one really talks about it too much. Luckily, I have a free book list full of highly profound information. And number two, this stuff can be kind of hidden. We can not really like to look at ourselves and investigate our experience in this kind of way because it will bring up the things that we disown in ourselves, which can be uncomfortable, and we want to very instinctually just avoid that discomfort in an unconscious way, not knowing that avoidance of ourselves just perpetuates our suffering. And the meeting of that aspect of ourselves that was never properly met, right? The contact with that part is actually healing and actually liberates us from our unnecessary suffering. So you have to learn how to express yourself consciously. You have to learn how to connect to yourself consciously and in a grounded way, in an emotionally intelligent way, in an attuned way, rather than the norm for our society, which is usually reactive and based off of unconscious conditioning. I don't know if you've ever heard the Carl Jung quote. It goes something along these lines. If you don't make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. And this is exactly how it works. We have all these unconscious aspects of ourselves that are actually controlling us that we might not want to see. And without making them conscious, you don't have a real choice here in life. You're just an NPC almost. Right? I'm not trying to say that in an offensive way, but I'm trying to just make a point here. It's almost like you're programmed to do a particular thing and you're not able to break out of your programming. You don't really have a real choice in your relationships or in your career or in your diet or in how you feel or in your daily habits. Because what's controlling you is just unconscious parts of you that are acting based off of needs for security, safety, comfort, to remain in your status quo. You can't evolve. You can't change. And so life goes on, and we think that our experience of it is just how it is. This is just what life is. This is just how it is, how it works. When it's not. It's more so a projection of our own internal conditioning. So dig through your unconscious conditioning and make it conscious so that it doesn't rule you. You can check out the therapy and healing books on my book list. Absolutely fantastic for this kind of work. My book list is a resource that hopefully you have. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's free. And you're going to want to hold that book list like it's the Bible for the most part. Because it's full of extremely profound knowledge and wisdom that is extremely difficult to come by. I've been reading for 7.5+ years, and I think I might have my top 150 books on there of some of the most life-changing, profound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So I want to ask you a question, and that question is, what is actually preventing you from acting in a truthful way? Because there's ways of being in the world that are, in a sense, more true than others. There's ways of being in the world that reflect your nature and who and what you are at a fundamental level better than others. There's ways of being in the world that align better with who and what you are than others. And this doesn't mean that you adopt X behaviors and repress Y behaviors. This just means that there's a truth to you, and why don't you act in alignment with it? Why are you so afraid of it? And if you're really, really serious, hopefully I can talk a bit slower now, rather than needing to talk fast. Hopefully I got your attention. If you're really serious about this stuff, you'll recognize that fear, that disconnection from yourself, that acting out of alignment with yourself, it doesn't feel good. It's a lot of suffering. And in fact, it's never going to go anywhere until you learn how to see what's going on in your inner world clearly. It's never going to go anywhere until you make the unconscious conscious. So the things that prevent you from acting in alignment with what's true for you, maybe I'll just give you the answer. Things like emotional wounding, things like not wanting to see what's true, not having a burning desire, a deep burning and a genuine desire for what's true. And just being distracted from this whole thing. Because you can watch a video like this, but then the next video pops up, and then there's some tasty ice cream over there, and then you got to go back to work, and then this person calls you and they want to hang out. It's easy to get pulled away from it. Stay with yourself. Stay here. Stay just present, just aware, just alert. Feeling, dropping the mind a little bit. Just noticing the energy of the moment and staying there, allowing feelings to come out, allowing yourself to just exist, and just getting curious about what your experience is. Not needing to control it, just learning to be with it consciously and intentionally. No need to distract yourself from yourself, no need to avoid yourself. Learning just how to sit and watch without judgment, without needing stimulation, without needing to avoid a feeling. It's like you're digging into your experience, connecting to it deeper, and really wanting to see what is true about it directly. What's the opposite of this? Avoidance, denial, repression, suppression, storytelling, rationalizing. I'm trying to point you in the direction of making your unconscious conscious and inquiring into why you suffer so much. I'm trying to point you in the direction of liberating yourself from your unnecessary suffering that is self-inflicted. That's kind of the nature of the shadow. The nature of the unconscious is that it's kind of wreaking havoc on our lives, and we typically deny it. We deny that it exists or that it's even there or doing anything. Meanwhile, it's still there and it still creates suffering. And it's a whole bunch of delusion, a lot of misperception, a lot of baggage that we're storing in ourselves. And the body keeps the score, if you know that book. The body holds it all. Connect with your body more. Just learn to feel it. Your body doesn't have to be this kind of numb place, tense place, always uncomfortable place. You can rewire yourself so that it feels good to exist, so that just existing, you get it. You realize, wow, this is insane. This is profound. You look at yourself in the mirror and you recognize, holy shit, this is profound. You learn to connect to being rather than always being stuck in unconscious doing mode, which is the norm. Doing things unconsciously because if we don't do them, something bad's going to happen. You learn how to be and be consciously, and then you bring that awareness into what you are doing so that you can actually live a conscious lifestyle that doesn't need to inflict unnecessary suffering upon yourself. All right, you learn to connect with your body, this being a very fundamental point. Your body holds wisdom that's far more intelligent than your mind. Learn to inhabit it. Learn to be in it. Learn to process the feelings that it's holding on to and all this tension is keeping it trapped in there. Learn to open it up, right? Learning to open up in life. Your mind and your body are one, not separate. This was something that I realized, the intelligence of the body is something that I realized on my first meditation retreat. And the moment I realized it, I couldn't believe that I was missing how important it was. That was maybe like 4 years ago or something. So I have a lot of good resources on my book list. Trauma and the Unbound Body by Judith Blackstone. That's a really good one. If you want to work with me one-to-one, right, if you really want to go deep in this kind of stuff, you really want to activate your potential in this domain of life, if you really want to dig into some of these blocks that you have, you really want to advance your consciousness, I'd recommend working one-to-one with me. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.